It's the first of the month and your phone rings. Ta, salary credited. You feel rich exactly 5 minutes and then the notifications start rolling in. EMI debits, credit card bills, utility bills, rent, and so on and so forth. The list is just exhausting. By the 6th day of the month, you realize that your salary account, which you thought would be a garden, has turned into a ghost town. As bad as it gets, now you are disappointed. You just repent over the kind of financial decisions you have taken, which has led you to this situation. If this situation sounds familiar to you, you're not alone. If you know of someone who does this, you are not the only one knowing such a person. The problem is that debt has become a way of life in India. As per RBI's report, more than 70% of urban Indian middle class households at least hold one loan, and the average debt is 4.8 lakhs. This number was a fraction, it's just about 20% of what it is today, just 1.5 decades back. So what changed? Is it something else? Is it a case of the great Indian dream, just like the great American dream? And we all know how the American dream ended in the year 2008. Is India going to witness something similar? Stay tuned till the very end to know more. Today we are going to deconstruct exactly how this happens. We are going to look at not the boring charts, we are going to talk about a story. The best way to explain something, be it finance or anything else, is to narrate a story, and this is the one which most people can relate to. We are talking about Neha, a young dynamic professional who's just started a career in the city of Bengaluru. She's just graduated and she's joined a global capability center in a renowned multinational. Her package? Very good, 7 lakhs per annum. Remember, the IT entry-level salaries have been stuck at 3.5 to 4 lakh range for decades now. She takes home a handsome 50,000 rupees a month, which is a very good number. Of course, after years of hard work, today Neha feels really wealthy. 50,000 a month is something she has never seen. And this is her own money, which she would love to spend with no regrets, no accountability towards anyone. But as Spider-Man used to say,
great power comes great responsibility.
This is where Neha starts to fumble. She knows that she has her expenses of 15,000 in rent, food and utilities of another 10,000, travel takes up another 5 grand. So she ends up with a saving of 20,000 a month in the beginning, which is a healthy sign. 40% saving is not bad to start with. The problem is that savings and dreams seldom go together. And Neha is a dreamer. She dreams of a great lifestyle, a great luxury life. Everything great starts with a small move, be it a good habit or a bad habit. Things begin by excusing yourself as a convenience and a little bit of optimism. The financial system is designed to just look at Neha and other people who are dreamers but have got great earning capacity. They ensure that Neha and other people don't remain savers for a long period of time but end up being great borrowers and long-time customers for the financial sector. Well, Neha has been working for 6 months. She's enjoying her job, but she's having a hard time commuting. Rains, the heat, the humidity, the dust, you name it, there's a big problem in any metro you go. So she decides to make her commute easy. She decides to go for a scooter, which is priced 1.2 lakhs. Now 1.2 lakhs is not an amount which Neha has, and she wants this convenience very badly. So she goes to his showroom, and salesman, being great as his job, just says the most coveted line in the industry today. Ma'am, no problem. 5,000 दीजिए डाउन पेमेंट, बाकी सब EMI में हो जाएगा. She does the math. EMI at 3,500 rupees a month sounds okay because she has a 50,000 salary and currently she doesn't take the savings into account, but she still feels that she can manage it very easily, and she can. 20,000 saving, 3,500 doesn't look big. But she doesn't stop there. Once you have a bike, you also want a great phone. You also want a great apparel. You also want great shoes. So she says, let me take a credit card. Free for life credit cards are the easiest way to trap anyone on a long-term EMI or a long-term spending cycle. Now Neha, once addicted to credit card spending, has stopped keeping track of her expenses. She has not realized that the surplus which she had of 20,000 a month initially has slowly dropped to 12,000, sometimes even lesser. She is still safe, she pays her bills, but she has effectively stopped saving. In the sense, she doesn't keep a saving number in mind at the beginning. She just says what is left after spending. The trap is open and she has just walked in. Now she has a credit card, she has a two-wheeler EMI going on. Fast forward 3 years, Neha wants to upgrade. At this moment, I remember the great dialogue of Farhan in Three Idiots.
आप क्या सोचेंगे फर्क पड़ता है? कपूर साहब क्या सोचेंगे इससे मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
The greater happiness lies in being above someone in social prestige or status. And when Neha sees her friends driving a car, her colleagues driving a car, she also wants to upgrade. Of course, she has done well, her salary is 10 lakhs, but what she doesn't realize is that her opportunity to save more has just perished with her dream of owning a shiny hatchback or a great SUV. The friends are posting pictures on social media and she wants to match it. She doesn't want to feel junior. Somewhere down the line, she thinks that car now has become a necessity. What she thought for a two-wheeler, she now thinks for a car itself. She walks into a dealership and sees the desired car she wants. Priced at 10 lakhs ex showroom, all-in price 11.5 lakhs. And out of the total price, only 10 lakhs can be financed through EMI. The remaining 1.5 lakhs is something one has to put out of the pocket. And Neha only has 1.5 lakhs in savings. That is something which she has made over the last 3 years she's worked. So all the savings just to put on one car. I think this kind of a move makes this decision impulsive, even if it was strategic to begin with. The EMI for the car roughly comes to 15,000, and mind you, now despite her increased salary, her savings have only improved to 25 to 30,000. With a 15,000 EMI, she will again be back to 10 to 12,000 a month saving, which she was when she was riding a two-wheeler. Now let's pause a minute and look at Neha's finances. Her lifestyle expenses have gone up. She eats better, wears better, add a car EMI, everything. Thankfully, she decided to sell the scooter, so her 3.5 thousand per month EMI stands saved henceforth. She is now driving a machine that loses value every single day, paying interest to the bank to own it. The 70% statistic which you hold here, this is where it comes in. This is a sweet spot where middle class starts funding consumption to the debt. Now Neha has almost zero liquidity, just 10 to 12,000 rupees being saved every month. Her 1.5 lakh saving has gone into down payment. Any emergency, any job loss, anything critical, she's gone. You lose out on the insurance also when you lose a job. And any calamity strikes, 4 to 5 lakh hospital bill is not a big deal in any metro city in India. Here comes the next leap. She's 28, time to get married. It is definitely a union of families who want to display their social status at every moment possible. The average Indian wedding today easily costs anywhere between 10 lakhs to 50 lakhs. Even if the parents chip in, Neha and her better half want to contribute. They want the best photographer, best venue, the best outfits. But the estimate of expense of 30 lakhs for the wedding is huge. After parents chipping in, they still choose to pay half, and Neha has to now pay half of the 15 lakhs, that is 7.5 lakhs herself. She doesn't have the money, of course. So what do? Another EMI. Enter personal loan. She took a 10 lakh personal loan at 14% interest cover. Remember, 7.5 lakhs is for the wedding. The honeymoon is yet to be covered. Considering this is paid, Neha has to now shell out an additional EMI to the tune of 12,000 per month. And 12,000 is all the savings she has. After this point, Neha has literally zero savings and zero money saved at the end of this month. She is only banking that her salary would grow with time. So post-marriage, Neha and her husband start with a negative net worth. 10 lakhs taken by Neha, 8 lakhs taken by her husband. So negative net worth to start a marriage, recipe for disaster. People don't realize how expenses shoot up post-marriage. And the societal pressure which they thought they've gotten rid of after wedding just keep growing. Remember, once you have shown off to someone, they will keep reminding you that you have displayed a particular status and you need to continue that. So now you can't stay in the same home which you have rented earlier, you need to upgrade. You can't be driving the same car, you need to upgrade. And just as you boasted about your honeymoon in Paris or Maldives, now you will be under pressure to take an international holiday on a recurring basis every year. And while these pressures and other things are at it, enter the fourth stage. Well, one common question which most relatives ask in India: why are you paying rent? Rent is a waste of money. Why don't you own a house? It's an asset buildup. Well, to a lot of people it sounds logical and maybe true. The problem is that against a 2.5% rental yield in India and home loan interest rate of 7.5-8%, the math simply does not work. And home prices have never appreciated in the last 1 decade or so. They have barely given any returns. So everything all said and done, they still succumb to the pressure and buy a home. Neha and her husband now decide to take a loan. A combined loan to the tune of a house of 80 lakhs gives you 60 lakh as loan, and EMI likely in the range of another 50,000. Now Neha and her husband together are paying this EMI on top of the personal loan EMI, on top of the car loan EMI which Neha is already incurring. Now both of them don't have any savings left. Out of the total money they earn, almost 40% goes to home loan, car loan another 20%, personal loan 20%, 20% basic living expenses. They are barely left with anything. Now from the point of just Neha being at the edge of a financial disaster, both of them are trading with fire right now. So people, you realize that once you lock yourself up to an EMI or long-term expense, the other expenses which you would comfortably pay or something which you don't want to negotiate for, you're compelled to do so. The problem is that you have decided to look rich in front of rich people who don't really matter in the long run. They both are heavily reliant on their job. They are just one medical emergency away from disaster. The insurance can cover your medical cost, but your inability to work and a huge EMI running in front of you, you are in for big crisis. The final squeeze. Well, if all of these things had not piled up enough pressure on Neha and her husband, another great news comes in, which is supposed to be a moment of joy, but in this case, it's not just a moment of concern, it's a moment of worry also. Neha is pregnant. A great news, the entire family is happy. But nobody is accounting for the fact that after this, probably Neha may have to take a career break. During pregnancy, people don't get paid. And a lot of women even face a big challenge coming back to work after pregnancy. They often end up with roles which are not in their best interest. Sometimes they are sidelined. A lot of women quit their job under this pressure. So great opportunity to earn has gone. Mind you, I am not at all talking about pregnancy here. It's great to have a childbirth. The problem is that when you're sitting on great amount of EMIs and other such burden, this news may not be the best for your finances. This kills your flexibility big time. Now, they don't just have to cut back on their home loan, they have to cut back on their personal loan. On top of it, they have to manage their child's expenses. Remember, the average school fees in India are just skyrocketing. 1.5-2 lakhs is just for nursery these days, and Neha and her husband want the best for their child. But they are staring at a difficult future ahead. They have now given up on the fact that they can manage their finances well, so they chose to hire an advisor. The advisor suggested something great and wise. He asked them to borrow money from family and friends initially and pay off your personal loan. I know it sounds difficult, but they just didn't have any scope to do it themselves. Borrow money from family, pay off your personal loan. At least the 14-15% interest rate loan is down. Secondly, sell your car off and pay off the car EMI. The car loan EMI gone, personal loan EMI gone. Now they are left together with a saving of 25 to 30,000 a month, which is a pretty good sum. With this, they can start planning for the future of their child. This way, they intend to increase their income. The husband decides to teach in the weekends, and Neha decides that she will get back to the work and accept the profile which she gets in case the company downgrades it. So in conclusion to all of this, these two people, Neha and her husband, were very bright people. There was no lack of competency, no lack of intelligence. Problem was the lack of discipline. And mind you, I, any given point of time, would bet my money on a disciplined guy than a talented guy. Remember, there were a lot of brilliant cricketers in the past. They never stood anywhere close to where Rahul Dravid was, or what Rahul Dravid achieved. Despite his slow pace of scoring, Rahul Dravid ended up playing much longer than most people. So in life, learn to be Dravid. You don't always have to play the big way. It is better to play longer like Dravid than to get out like Shahid Afridi. Finance is a bit like that. If you like my analogy, if you like my video, if you like my story, please feel free to comment. And do subscribe to my channel. It gives me a lot of motivation. It gives me a lot of hunger. It gives me a lot of passion to deliver more such content to you. Thank you very much for your attention, viewers.